Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Elias and welcome back to Stoneblock 2. In the last episode, we were working on industrial foregoing, which I've actually moved all the stuff over here in a nice little chest. So we were working with industrial foregoing so that we could make the mob imprisonment tool and the mob duplicator to get shulker shells so that we could make a large the big filters from Ender.io. What we needed that for was our mob farm. I'll get to all that stuff in a little bit. We needed that for our mob farm, and specifically cleaning out this chest, which I can set up a little bit more filters. I've been doing, once I have an entire armor set, I go over here and set up the filters. We are running low. There's only 2 more spaces left. But honestly, that's okay. So yeah, things are going good. I spent a little bit of time between episodes with the cows. And yeah, we have the Vivid Alloy. This guy is a 4% chance. So every time we breed the cows, there's a 4% chance that we get that guy. And it didn't take too long. Oh, right. Wrong button. Whack them with the stick, and I get to collect them. This one, I need to right-click, and then we need to place them back down. So, I had 1 energetic silver, and now I have 5. So, it took about a half a stack of wheat in total. Wasn't too terrible, but now that we have the Vivid Alloy, which I need to do all of my stuff, we're going to mark that one off in here. The Vivid Alloy, which I don't even know what Vivid Alloy is used for or how you get it or anything. Well, that one is going to be even more difficult because I think it's Stellar Alloy. No. Melodic. No. We have that. What is the next one in line? Oh, Liquid Death. Alright, so we have Vivid Alloy and Night Slime, and a 3% chance. So are we going to get super lucky? Probably not. But the more of both of these we get, which I don't have any more Night Slimes, but the more of both of these we get, the better off we'll be. And at the end of this chain is Molten Infinity, which requires Stellar and Evil Infused. Evil Infused is Liquid Death and Iron. Stellar is Melodic and Liquid Death. So yeah, it's going to be terrible to get them, but once we do, we'll be able to put the Infinity Cow into a stall and just forever try to get more stuff. More Infinity. And that will create Infinity Ingots, and that's amazing. So, yeah. Cows are kind of cool. We do have a quest to complete because of that last cow. Vivid Alloy. We got basic capacitors. Cool. So, before we get to what we're going to be doing for today, there is a couple things I'm going to show off. One is our machine room. Now, I did clean up all of the water mills. They are now in here in a more compact area and actually more powerful. So there's water source in the center here and then all 4 corners, and that gives them the most grid power that they can generate. And I figured it would be appropriate to put them in here. This is kind of like my power room. If we need any other power stuff, we can put it there. But I've gone ahead and started planning out all of the machines, which is why I have a flux point. And honestly, I think the best thing is going to be to probably put the flux point here, and then we're going to probably use Ender.io conduits for all of the connections so that we can have automation as well for any of these machines. But we're going to have 6 machines for thermal expansion. There's going to be a total of 8 for mechanism, 1 that we don't really need, but it made it look even. We're going to have actually 4 for Ender.io, but the Max Alloy Smelter and Sag Mill, I think they're like a block and a half tall or something, And then we have our atomic reconstructor. I'll need to get another flux point over here, but that's kind of whatever. And we'll have to get plenty of cables and all that kind of stuff ran over here as well. But that is honestly going to be future things, because today what we're going to do is we're going to work on automating Applied Energistics so that we can make whatever we need. Now, I have all the machines that I'm going to be making eventually over time for all those slots, but we'll probably do more of that next episode. And then is there anything else? No, the big thing is I want to start working with Applied Energistics to get everything kind of automated. I want to be able to automate ME drives plus the actual storage cells, controllers, and all that kind of stuff. We already have a little bit of that down here, which this whole thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm probably going to want to move stuff around. And obviously this room is going to get decorated. It's not going to get any larger, though. And I don't think we're actually going to go that way for much of anything. I have it for everything else. Portals, EMC generators. We're probably... we might have cables go that way, but we can deal with that later. I could probably do like a 3 and 3 and keep the center block open, but or I could stack these up and make it a little bit more compact to the side or something. I don't know. We're gonna move these later, but I need to make sure I can get cables. So do we have cables automated? Yes. Now the question is, can I make cables automated? So no. Charged Certus quartz and dust needs to be automated. So that is kind of the first order of business. So we have Certus quartz dust, which dust is not too bad. We have a sag mill here already. We can just add another recipe. So let's do exactly that. Do we have any more patterns? Okay, so can we make a ton of patterns? I just need resources for that. So yes, we can. So let's get, I don't know, 20 patterns for right now. And then once we get a couple of those, we will automate the cables, the basic cables. Now eventually we're going to want dense cables. And probably the dense smart cables occasionally, but at the very least the dense cables, which does require wool. And I think the best way to get that is going to be string, because we have a mob farm, but we'll kind of play that one by ear a little bit. So Certus quartz, we're going to say this is a processing pattern. Certus quartz becomes is it actually better, because some of the stuff I can't use. So for example, the flux crystals, I need charged Certus, which is fine. Quartz fiber, that might be where it's wanting this Certus quartz dust. So let's see about the fiber. Yeah, so it's wanting the Certus quartz dust. So I can go ahead and change that, or at the very least make it not care as much. It says allow, but do we have any nether quartz dust? Because I have a lot of nether quartz, and so that might be the better thing to go with. And then we can still teach the system how to make the Certus quartz dust, but that's not as important. So we have all the patterns, that's good. Now the other thing we're going to need is charged Certus quartz, which energetic infuser might be good. Enrichment chambers, no. And then the only other way, wait, we can get it from, oh right, of course. So energetic infusers are probably going to be the easiest machine, but there is also the charger. from Applied Energistics, and that should be easy enough to make. So let's go ahead and make not a pattern. Let's go ahead and make one if we can. And then we just need to, apparently we haven't done that yet. I do want to see what all kind of quests. It wants fluid storage and, okay. So nothing that we're going to get to today. But we can automate the charger fairly easily. We just got to decide kind of where. This is not collecting any Certus quartz, so for the time being, I can go ahead and do that. And then we can, once we can make more, what are they called? Molecular assemblers. I'll have to automate these guys and the interfaces. The interfaces are the more important ones, but we should be able to get everything going just fine. But let's get a pattern like so. And then we're going to want some conduits. Let's make like 20 of those. Sure. I have a few on me, but we need more. What is auto search keep? I don't know. I struggle with what option to use, but we should be able to just do something like this. So we put that in there. This has a filter. We'll have to get a filter. Not a big deal. I think we have some filters. Do we have any filters in here? We have advanced item filters. Do we have any normal filters? If I can spell filters, no. So I guess we'll use an advanced one just because we have it. And we can just put it... how do I want to do this? We can put it right there. And then yet a wrench. I can never remember. Nope. That was wrong. I can never remember if it's right click or left click. It is left click. So south, we're going to get insert item filter for that. Green I think is right. And then on the up, we're actually going to turn that off completely so that we can put them on the sides. We're going to turn that one off. This is going to be extract, always active on red. That's the wrong thing. And this is going to be insert on green, item filter with a Certus quartz. So that should work. If we put Certus quartz in there, it should go in there. It's going to set... it doesn't actually get power. Oh, because it gets power from the top from the AE system. So let's get some cables. And we just do like that. And there we go. So it'll extract it. Everything will be good. And we can now automate charged Certus quartz. Perfect. Now, obviously, a lot of this stuff is going to probably move, and I'll probably do that off camera. Just kind of move things around. It's set up the systems in the places I want them. But the next thing that we kind of need, and I don't think, do we need to make the crystal growth? We do need to make this thing. How difficult would it be to make it at this point? Not terribly. Okay, so crystal growth accelerators. I believe we have, I think we just have one, don't we? And it's over here. Yes. So what we can do is make a few more of these. And the thing is we can make everything for it. So we're going to need 5 more of them. And I think that means we need, let's get like 20 more Fluix crystals. So I can already hear them being crafted. What else are we going to need for this? So we're going to need a hopper, a chest, a cable. We're going to need a handful of cables. So let's go ahead. I hit the wrong button for that. Let's get like 40 cables. It'll craft that up, no problem. And if I can just get one of these guys to get the Fluix block, we can see what all we need for these guys, which is going to be the quartz glass. So let's get like 30 of that. Sure. So we'll come back to that once it's ready. So we have crushing. Now something else that we're going to need in order to do a lot of the stuff is we're going to need a smelter. And I think the best way to do that is going to be to grab a... I feel like... Oh, they're already in the system. We have a bunch of redstone furnaces. And so we might as well use those. So we can also get the... what are they called? Conversion kits. We can also get the conversion kits. Don't think we need to go to reinforce, but why not? And basically we can get all this stuff done. So how's it doing on the crafting? Would seem like everything is done. Cool. So we should be able to make this now. So we need 5 of these. And then do we have everything for this? We do. Cool. So there is the crystal growth chamber. That is all done. We're going to get the random reward, which is some climbing gloves. And that is taken care of. So at this point, one of the big things that we need to kind of focus on is we're going to need to make some more controllers. And if we look at what controllers require, it's pure Fluix crystals. And in order to get that, we need enrichment chambers. So we're going to get another enrichment chamber, unless I already have one. You know what? This has been a little bit of a long time coming. Let's get this kind of taken care of by just taking all this stuff out and transferring it back over here. So that'll be fine for now, but I didn't see any enrichment chambers, so we're gonna need to make one. So there it is. Enrichment chamber. We're gonna need 2 basic controllers. So osmium with tin redstone. So osmium and redstone. And then we're also going to need a steel casing. And so we're just going to need one more thing of steel. I think the best way to do this is going to be just to get the coal. We'll pulverize a little bit of that and grab the iron. There is other ways to get steel, but actually, you know what? Let's go with that. So metallurgic infuser, we're going to throw those in. We can actually make the steel through this by using it's a different steel apparently. So I think if we just look at the recipes for this, yeah, we should be able to throw iron and tin carbon. So we put one of those in. That is 20 carbon. That is not working. So it's enriched iron that we're trying to make. Iron ingot and carbon. Okay. Strange. I need to check something just to make sure. Okay, balanced clay is still there, so that means the scripts are still working. Maybe that's disabled. You know what, let's just go ahead and do it the other way around. Or does it not have power? It's out of power. Alright. That would probably be why. These will work if they'll reach. You know what else would reach? Just moving this thing. Alright, so main power. I guess. Why are you not accepting power? This is weird. So do we not have power being transmitted? I guess it's right here. Okay, so that is a flux plug. The other thing could be this. But it should not care about where it gets its power from. I mean, it's clearly connecting. Let's just go grab a universal cable. I don't know why that's not like working. It really should be. So let's grab universal cable and see if that fixes everything. Otherwise, I don't know. You are still not getting power. And I don't know why. I guess this is what it requires, but like, so, you are a very weird machine. Oh, I had a bunch of pure surge crystals. Okay, so I guess we'll just do this the other way. Pulverize a couple of these. And induction smelt. So is the flux point working? I guess that's the next question. No, so it's this that's not working. Why are you... Okay. So now you want to work. Okay, that... I don't know why it's not wanting to work otherwise, but okay, whatever. Anyways, rich iron, you put it in twice and you get steel. Otherwise, it's 4 coal for 1. No, it's not 4 coal. Yes, it is. And you get the steel. You then do have to cook it up, but it's a little bit cheaper on the coal to make steel that way. Anyways, that was weird. I have no idea why that happened the way it did, but let's go ahead and make the enrichment chamber. I lost it again because things moved. Oh, it's not there. It's not in the enrichment chamber. Okay, so we have the enrichment chamber, and this is what we're going to be using to make the pure crystals. So to make the pure crystals, you just throw in, so let's get crystals. We're going to have Certus quartz to be 1 pure. And then similarly for the Fluix crystals, we can do the same thing. And this is once again something that I'll set up in a little bit, but you just enrich it and no problems. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to step away for a moment, and I'm going to try to get this room a little bit nicer and try to figure out exactly how I want things to be. Because there is a couple things. One thing, we are going to want to send at least some cables that way. So I guess I should probably just do something like this to indicate that. But the question is, do we want to send things this way? And I think we will, just kind of for symmetry. What we're going to have over there, I don't know yet. That is a good question. We might have some like overpowered stuff that way. But what we're going to have to do is figure out in this space that we have left where to put all this automation. And that is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to get things wired up and cabled and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll come back, we'll take a look at it, and then probably finish up the episode with that. So one big thing that I should mention before I go is the controller is actually going to be down here. We're going to have a fairly large controller. Probably, I believe this is the center of the room. Yes, this is the center of the room. So it's probably going to be a 3x3. And I'll probably want to move the elevator back a little bit. But that is, so it's going to be here, effectively. And I guess let's just do something like this to make a mental note. So eventually I'm going to have a decent sized controller here, and we'll worry about making this room look nice later. But I'm going to start planning everything down here and get things where we want it to be and go from there. So I'll be back once I have that done. So some good news and some less than stellar news. So the good news is I have done some planning and I have some things hopefully that'll work. I'm not sure if this will work right here, but everything else will be fine. It's just a matter of getting things hooked up to a central point, which is the bad news. I don't want to move a lot of this stuff yet because we need controllers. We need a lot of controllers because we're going to start running into the problem of channels. And you can see currently we are using 6 of 8 channels on this controller on that one side with what we have. And well, basically 2 of these would be 8 channels, and then we'd be over channels, and then everything would be awful. So I kind of don't want to move things quite yet, but we're going to get into a couple things, and this is something I'm going to probably do off camera more. So the big thing is I want to teach the system how to make the ME controllers. We got to set this back to pattern mode. I'll get into some of the stuff that I've been working on, so we're going to do that. And yeah, that is good enough. Now, I did teach the system how to make molecular assemblers, and we're going to use stone crafting tables because unlike wood, we do have an infinite supply of stone being produced and coming in. We have a drawer full of stone, in fact, so that is going to be the better way. I've also taught the system how to make conduit binders and silicon. That's what the redstone furnace is for. Everything else is pretty much the same stuff. And we're going to be using 4 different ME interfaces because I have the Certus Quartz dust. This one, we could probably combine these 2 if we wanted to, but it's going to be more trouble than it's really worth. And we're going to have plenty of channels, I think, for now anyways. If we run into channel problems later, for the record, if you're unfamiliar with Applied Energistics 2, and a really quick thing, we're not going to get too heavily into channels because we're going to do more of that kind of stuff in a later episode. But basically, each side of a controller has the ability to send 32 channels. Channels are used whenever there is item transfer. So ME drives use channels. Crafting any kind of terminals use channels. Interfaces use channels. Crafting storage use channels. You get the idea. Molecular assemblers do not use channels, but interfaces do. So this is 2 right here. So we have a storage bus over here. That's a channel. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the crafting storage uses one. The coprocessing unit does not. So yeah, basically 32 channels is what we have on each side. However, these normal cables, the Fluix cables, can only transfer 8 channels. They only have access to 8 channels. Same with these smart cables. In order to get more channels, we have to use dense conduits or dense cables, and that is a little bit more difficult to get a hold of. Basically, we have to have covered cables, and then 4 covered cables makes a single dense cable, and then we can make that smart if we wanted to. Now, I kind of ruined the surprise. We're going to use conduits for a lot of this stuff. Now, the reason that we're going to use conduits, we're going to use a kind of a mixture, just depending on what's going to be cheaper. So, glass cables, for the most part, are going to be cheaper because it is the same recipe without the conduit binders. So we might end up using more conduits. It depends what all we transfer, but since we're mostly going to be using cables in like these areas, we'll probably just have the normal cables. But for like an area like this, what we can do is go ahead and make some ME conduits, and let's go ahead and teach the system how to make those specifically. And you know what, let's teach it how to make the dense ones as well. Not that we're going to use too many of those right now. We can go ahead and hook these up, and we can throw in a couple cables and just grab some conduits. So ME conduits, let's just grab 4. Really? Okay, so I'm gonna have to grab the pattern again because it decided it wanted it to be white, the white cables, and that is just not going to work. We want these glass cables, and that should be the default. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but the system really doesn't like it if you don't have the item you're requesting. So, like, even though we have ore substitution on, it should use any kind of glass cables, but it doesn't. It wants specifically whatever one we tell it the first time. So that is kind of weird, but basically what we're going to be doing is with these conduits, we could do things like this. And now these are both connected to conduits, but I can also item transfer. It's going to make things more compact. And that is kind of the idea. So the biggest thing is we just have to move things in. And then I'm going to have to move this. So this setup is probably going to go over here. And then we will have both the ME drives and the crafting stuff in this, I would call it a corner, but it's rounded, this side. And then here is where we'll have the molecular assemblers. We'll have probably 2 columns here. There's a really cool way you can set them up, but we don't really have the need for that yet. And that's not my elevator. Let's move the elevator back to here. And I mean, I can fly, so it's not that big of a deal, but let's just clean this up a little bit. So we want rotation, and there we go. Perfect. So it's a little bit farther back, but that's okay. What we'll probably end up doing is nothing much of anything. It's just I wanted a little bit of space. We'll probably end up moving this, and I'll probably move it forward again. But basically, at this point, we need to get a couple of things before we go, because I need to be able to make a bunch of ME controllers. But the problem with that is ME controllers require skystone. Skystone is kind of hard to get. Now, skystone dust and lava, we do have automated lava, but I'd rather have an easier way to get a bunch of skystone, because I want to keep this as an obsidian farm, not a skystone farm, you know? So we're going to make 4 of these, and then I'm going to put my water back and turn that back into just making obsidian, because obsidian is super useful. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to make one of our first seeds, skystone seeds. Now, I actually wonder, I know there is mystical agriculture. No. Okay, we are going to get a quest for this. We're going to get a couple quests for this. So we have the infusion stone. We made this a while ago, and we're going to make some skystone seeds. This is going to allow us to get a bunch of skystone essence, which lets us make a bunch of skystone very easily, and then we can smelt things up and make the controllers, and everything will be wonderful. So in order to get this, we're going to need a bunch of essence. We're going to need intermedium essence, but luckily we have a mob farm that's produced almost 4,000 of this stuff. So we're going to just take a few stacks, and just to get away from the mobs, we're going to come in here. And I guess, let's see, we are going to need 4 of those. So let's just, because I believe we can convert things backwards, and that doesn't really matter too much anymore because we have everything we could ever want in terms of we have plenty of essence, and we have the Master Infusion Crystal, so we don't have to worry about this ever breaking on us. But there is the 4 of the intermedium, and then we're just going to need the crafting seed, which requires some seeds and some prosperity thingies. These guys, prosperity shards. I couldn't remember what they were called. It's like, they're not ingots. What are they? Shards. So there is a base crafting seed. And we did make the intermedium. We haven't made the tier 3 crafting seeds. So we just put this down. We get tier 1. Then Prudentium gives us tier 2. And then 4 of these gives us tier 3. And we can make skystone seeds. Perfect. Now, I am going to grow these. Also, I need to mark them off. So we have skystone, if I can ever find it. There are a lot of seeds, and we will be making them all, but we probably won't be using them all. Because a lot of them, just, we don't care. There's no there's no major reason to use them, but just to mark them off that we do in fact have them. And then we can turn all this Prudentium back into Infernium and call it a day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice my wheat farm for just a little bit, and no big deal. We can throw this into this garden cloche, take all this wheat, and get a bunch of skystone essence. And that's it. You are ready to breed one more time, so come on. I will occasionally eat the, I don't know why, I mean, I'm hungry, but occasionally it will double eat, and I'll eat wheat, which is not ideal, but whatever. Anyways, that is, I think, a good stopping point for this episode. It's gone a little bit long in time, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on getting, what is it, 3, 9, a lot of the ME controllers. So, yeah, 1, 2, so 4, 8, plus 18, whatever that is, math, 26, or I guess 25 more ME controllers is what I am going to go after. Actually, no, we're going to go with 30 in total, so 29 more ME controllers. And so in order to get that, we are just going to need a good bit of silicon, which is easy enough. I can get that pretty simply, and a bunch of skystone and the pure fluix crystals. So I might move things over. We could see, pure fluix crystals is there, which is unfortunate, but I could just do one of these and connect this. I do want to test real quick before we go. I know I started to say goodbye, but I want to see if it can make, let's see, what is the, no, not shift click, control click, no, alt click, No. I don't remember what the crafting thing is. Can we tell it to make like 8? I've got to relook that up. So they go in. It works just fine. Cool. So we should see the crystals go through. So that is perfect. That works just fine. And that is good to know. Cool. So what I will probably end up doing is making all the stuff that I need, and then we'll come back next time. We'll have the ME controller all set up, and what we're gonna do is, I don't know. I'm not quite ready to start moving like using the Applied Energistics system everywhere. There is one other thing that we're gonna want to make with all this stuff, but for the most part, I think what we'll probably end up doing, we might try to make all these machines, and then maybe, I don't know, we need to start thinking about what we want to do next, what priorities and all that kind of stuff. So things to consider, but we'll get there. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!